It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one.
Hi guys, hope you can see me well enough. As you can see, I've got new short hair. I'll be talking about that in a different vlog. Today's video is quite different to any other videos that I've ever made. I don't really know where to start this one. Today I thought I would talk to you about a subject that is incredibly personal and incredibly close to my heart, and that is infertility. Definitely not an easy thing to talk about, definitely not an easy thing to decide to put up on here. But having gone through it with my husband for the last 6 years, I have come to the realisation that it can be quite a dark and lonely place to be, and I just thought, if I'm on this journey anyway, for better or worse, hopefully for better, why not share my experiences with other people and, you know, maybe get some advice from other people, because this is so new to me as well, a lot of it, and maybe what I'm going through will maybe help somebody else. That's literally the only my only goal, sort of my only idea behind doing this. Obviously because it is quite personal, but that is my idea. I'd like to maybe, you know, hopefully help somebody. If somebody gets any help from watching this, then that would be wonderful. Yeah, so what do they say in Alcoholics Anonymous? Yeah, so kind of like Alcoholics Anonymous. My name is Daniela Logan and I am infertile. Oh, it's quite big when you say it like that, isn't it? I guess that is the only way to start this, isn't it? Yeah. So let me give you, I hope I haven't got lipstick on my teeth. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. So, I met the man of my dreams 7 years ago in September, and we knew very, very quickly that we were going to be a couple, and probably both of us, everybody laughs at us when we say this, both of us knew probably from that first night that we'd met the one. Yes, I know it's cheesy, I know it's corny, but it's true. We were both about 27, 28, so we'd been around the block a bit. That makes me sound like a bit of a hoe, doesn't it? I don't mean it like that. We'd had boyfriends and girlfriends and, you know, relationships that hadn't worked out. So we just kind of knew. Very, very blessed to fall into this relationship and meet this person that just gets me as a person and just happens to be my best friend as well as my partner. And we had the most magical sort of like 3 months dating and things, and Mike is just the most romantic guy ever. I'm so lucky. And we moved in with each other after about 2 weeks, and yeah, 3 months later, so we met on the 2nd of September. On the 17th of December 2011, Mike proposed, and I said yes. And with his job, we thought it would be good to probably get a move on the wedding. We didn't want to have like a long engagement because we thought things were going to be changing up a bit with his job. So we got married pretty much a year later on the 29th of December. So 1 year after we got engaged, and moved into our first house. Neither of us had lived out of home before, so that was really exciting. Moving into our first house together, that was a first. And as you do when you get into a relationship, we had the talk about babies, having a family, do we want to, quite early on, because I think that's kind of important. And yes, we both, this is really interesting actually, because actually Mike had always wanted a family and I had never wanted to have a family, and I was quite shocked as a woman because I had never felt maternal instincts. I'd never wanted children. I wanted a career. I was dead set on that. And then suddenly I meet this guy and I'm in this relationship and all I can bloody think about is having babies and having a family with this guy. I mean, what is he doing to me? But so yeah, so that was quite a big change for me. But yes, we established we did want to have a family. Great. When did we want to have this family? Like, you can plan these things, can't you? We decided we would probably give ourselves about 6 months to a year after, you know, wanting to be married and travel a bit and have a holiday and things after the wedding, and then we'd probably look at starting to try. On closer sort of inspection, so we came home from honeymoon in Loch Ness in the January of 2012, and actually on honeymoon we just kind of fallen in love with the idea of having a family, and we were just like, well, we could always start trying, it wouldn't hurt. They always say that, don't they, guys? They're always really excited about the trying part. Spoke to the GP and she said, listen, you know, you've been on the pill since you're probably about 16 years old, and various contraceptive methods. I tried the pill, I tried Depo-Provera injections, which awful, absolutely awful. I'm sure they work for some people, so this isn't like a negative on that if you use those. But for me, it made me put on so much weight. The one thing it did do is stop my periods, which at the time was kind of like, I really need to get a tripod, which was kind of a blessing because I have really bad endometriosis and have always had the worst, heaviest, painful periods in the world. So for me, getting through university and getting through my first, you know, jobs and things, trying to just get on with life, I was like, yeah, why not? Get rid of the periods, yay, one less thing to worry about. So I've been on the Depo and then been on Cerazette pill for combined about 10 years really. The GP said, not expecting there to be a problem, but you might have, just to warn you, you might need to have a couple of years coming off the pill before fertility comes back to where it should be. Certainly as we don't know where your periods are at the minute as you're not having any. So I was like, okay, so we came off the pill in the January 2012. And I guess we've been trying ever since really. I guess at first not putting 100% effort into it because everybody just thinks you come home from honeymoon, you stop using protection and hey presto, it'll happen. And quite rightly, because it does for some people, doesn't it? The amount of people that I've met that were lucky enough to get pregnant on honeymoon or very soon after trying, you know, there are people that it works for, and that's lovely for them. First year passed and we were so busy setting up our home, nobody really took any notice of it, I don't think. We were enjoying setting up our home, being a married couple, seeing our friends, socialising. We had a great first couple of years of marriage. When we got to 2 years, I actually remember a firework party because my father-in-law's birthday's on Guy Fawkes night and he always has a party, and a close friend of ours announced her pregnancy around this time. Was it, I think, 2 friends actually, and I don't know what changed inside of me, and maybe it had started to become a bit more obvious because I went from hoping to get pregnant and not really minding when it happened to minding that it hadn't happened, and suddenly starting to become quite aware of it and quite worried as to why it hadn't happened. I remember it ever so clearly feeling feels quite hard to say this and quite shameful, I suppose, but I felt absolute pang of jealousy in the pit of my stomach. And that in itself was a revelation because I'd never felt that before for anybody, and I was really like, it felt like somebody had punched me in the stomach and I was like, why me? No, not why. not, obviously my reaction was like, so like, I'm happy for them, that's wonderful news, but in the pit of my stomach somewhere there was a bit of me that was like, why is that not us up there saying that? And Mike's grandmother was stood next to me, and she obviously picked up the vibes that I was giving off without me even saying anything, because she just very gently touched my hand and said, it will be your turn soon. That was a really nice moment, and I thought, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, absolutely, you're right. Yeah, it will be. So I guess at two years we had the conversation with each other. Okay, I guess this is looking a bit harder, but they did say, you know, it might take a while for fertility to come back. And I guess at 2 years we started looking at making a concerted effort, shall we say, which again Mike was quite happy about. We decided to have a lot of fun, we took a lot of trips, and everything that we did, every trip, every time that we've kind of planned something timings wise to work, there was always this real sense of hope and joy. You know, sort of sitting there afterwards giggling, oh, imagine if we've made a baby, how nice would that be? Oh, how wonderful would it be that we can say that it was a New Year's Eve baby or a birthday baby, or every single event that we celebrated in those years, we thought, oh well, it could be the time, could be the day, you never know. And I think at about 2.5 years I remember starting to feel that it was having causing a bit of strain. At this point, lots of our close friends that we'd known for a long time had started to have families, and it seemed like every time I turned on Facebook there was another scam picture or another announcement, and it all seemed to start to get on top of me. I probably didn't communicate this very well to Mike. I kind of stuck my head in the sand and just got on with work and things, but had quite underlying anger as to why it hadn't happened. I don't think at this point we blamed each other. We didn't have any cause to, didn't have any reason to suspect it was either of us in particular. And I must say, during this time, during this whole 6-year period, there has been no year that has been stress-free for us, and that sounds like I'm overreacting, but I'm not. I'm really not. Long story short, you guys know that I've got problems with my health. I have good years and I have bad years. So I've got a heart problem, I've got a problem with my immune system where I basically don't have an immune system, so I get lots of infections that put me in hospital, and it takes a long recovery. I end up having lots of IV antibiotics. It affects my kidney function and my lung function, and I'm just really ill for long periods of time, which is not conducive to baby making. At the same time, my husband got a deep vein thrombosis in both legs just before we got married, so 7 years ago, and he ended up being on warfarin for the blood clots. Unfortunately, the blood clots calcified in his legs, and he's had circulation problems, which has led to him getting ulcers in his legs, which has caused pain issues, and he's had to do a lot of rehabilitation for his job, and in turn it ended up causing a type of form of PTSD. So as a couple, we've really been up against it. We've had a really hard time. I've lost my job because of health problems. Anything that could happen in those first years of marriage has happened, and to the point where everyone says, oh my god guys, your luck. I don't really think it's anything to do with luck. I think we've been incredibly unfortunate that it's all come together. So I will say, as a couple, we've had a lot of stress, and I do wonder quite often if that's anything to do with it. I was aware that time is not really on our side, although I have to admit I didn't know very much about infertility. by this point I'd celebrated my 30th, 31st birthday and knew that we should really get a jump on it. I know Mike was worried about, are you ever really financially prepared for a baby? And our friends all were really great and said to us, you never are, so don't try to be. But of course that's a normal worry. Went to see the GP, made the initial contact, and I have to say she was absolutely crap, absolutely awful. She told us we weren't trying enough, we couldn't possibly be trying enough, otherwise we would have had success, and not to worry. And also to mention, I'd been to see her about how bad, so basically being on the pill had controlled my endometriosis quite well, I think. My mum had severe endometriosis and ended up having a hysterectomy at 28, after me and my brother were both born extremely prematurely at 26 weeks, 26 and 28 weeks. May or not be connected to that, but so it is in the family. She just dismissed it. I was in extreme agony, I was having hospital admissions, and she just dismissed it. So sent us away and told us to keep trying, basically. At this time we were having an awful lot of stress. It got to about year 3. God, year 3, and at this point it is quite blatantly obvious to your friends and family that you are having reproductive issues. They've stopped asking, when are you guys going to start a family? Every time Christmas or birthdays rolls around, it's like the elephant in the room. It's that unsaid thing that really, it's like Voldemort, has to be, you know, shan't be mentioned, shan't be brought up. I think everybody is quite acutely aware of the pain that the subject causes, so everybody does do their best to walk on eggshells, and that's not fair to them. I went through a period of time where I found it incredibly hard to... This makes me sound like such a bitch, doesn't it? Oh God, I don't mean to be. I was incredibly happy for our friends and incredibly confused by the feelings that I felt about all this, because I love my friends. And one of my best friends said to me one day when she was pregnant again, I know what you're going through, and I know that you are happy for me, but you are incredibly sad for you. And that really struck a chord with me, because that's basically it. I didn't want to be this bitch, and that actually really helped. So Donna, if you're watching, thank you. You really helped. And it's really helped having had a friend to talk to that has been through similar things, and all of my friends have been really good. Our parents have been great, our brothers and sisters have been great, and everyone's tried to just be really positive. And I have to admit, I've had real ups and downs with this. It's only now, looking back at the 3-year, 4-year mark, that I realise how much depression I actually had over this, really. It wasn't acknowledged. I buried it because there was so much else going on in our family with Mike being poorly. But now I look back, it was definitely a big part of our problems and my problems. It's a huge issue. About 4 years, you start to feel that life's very unfair. You start to feel bitterness towards each other. Blame starts to sneak in. Could it be your fault? Could it be mine? Well, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. So many arguments about silly things, when really all we wanted to do was look at each other and say, I want a baby, I want a family. I know you do, and I can't give you it, and I feel incredibly guilty about that. not really angry at each other. You're angry at this situation, this monster that is eating you up inside. Because you can't give the person that you love, because we all enter marriage, and most of us enter marriage wanting to create. There is no better expression of your love than to create a family together. Possibly the most wonderful thing in the world, and everybody wants that. And it's, you know, what I've come to realise, it is a deep, deep human, not for everybody, but it's just, especially as time goes on, and once that clock starts ticking, especially in ladies, you know, you can't explain it, you can't rationalise it, but it is a deep, primal need to have a baby, and to carry that baby yourself, and to experience pregnancy. People at that point started to offer advice, sometimes wanted, sometimes, I'm so sorry, my hair is in my way. Sometimes wanted, sometimes not wanted. That's better. Yeah, so about this time people started to offer advice, sometimes wanted, sometimes not wanted, sometimes quite cruel. I've had people say to me, oh, well, you're not getting any younger, aren't you worried about your eggs being fossilised? Are you not worried about Down syndrome? And you think, how could you actually walk up to somebody and say that? Yes, I am worried about my eggs being older. I am worried about Down syndrome. I'm also worried about the fact that we can't have a family. Thank you so much for reminding me. That's so kind of you, yes. I know, about 4 years in, we were in a pretty dark place. Still had no answers. The doctors, I'd been back to the GP multiple times, still no answers. Still no offer of help. I had looked into infertility and things like that myself. But with everything going on, I felt powerless really. Didn't really know where to start, didn't know where to begin. And I knew that we would not be able to afford private help at that time. So we had a really, really honest conversation with each other. Would we be okay as a couple if we didn't have children? Was it a make or break thing? Or would we actually be okay as a couple, just us? And actually that took quite a few months of soul searching. Sounds really corny, but we stripped it all back. We got to know each other again. We took some trips away, and you know, just whenever we had a quiet moment with each other, the issue would inevitably come up, because it does. And in the end, I'm really happy that we were both able to say to each other, I love you, I married you, and that's what I want from this. Ultimately, the one thing I don't want to do is lose you. I think we will be fine. It will be incredibly sad if we do not get the family that we want. And at that point Mike said, I promise you, one way or another, I will make sure we have a family. And that just melted my heart all over again. You know, he's my best friend. I can't imagine a day without him. And I think these struggles you have to go through together. And if you work at it as a team, you survive it so much better. So we made an agreement that we would be fine on our own, and if that was the way it was going to go, we were just going to make the most of our life and just have fun with each other and just get on with the living again, because I feel like we'd press pause waiting for this, with this thing over our heads all the time, this heavy burden on our backs. So that's what we did. We pushed the pause button. No doctors, no intervention, and no testing. We stopped ovulation strips, stopped testing for pregnancy, because as you girls know, and guys, with every month every time your period is slightly late, there's always that element of hope. Could we be? Could we be? And you get excited, you get your hopes up, even though you don't mean to, you get them up. And those very expensive pregnancy tests just break your bloody heart, don't they? And every time that it was a no, it was causing more problem. It was causing more upset and heartbreak. So no pregnancy tests, no ovulation tests.
Hey babe.
Hey. 4 years caused a lot of stress, and in the end it came to a head, and we had to sit down and have a very honest conversation with each other. Would we be alright as a couple if we couldn't have children? It was very honest, painfully honest, heartbreaking conversation to have. Whenever we had quiet moments, we would talk about it, and it took a couple of months, but in the end we came to the decision that we would be okay. We both realised that we love each other, and the one thing we don't want to do is jeopardise our marriage or lose this relationship. It would be incredibly heartbreakingly sad to not have a family with Michael, but to not have Mike at all would be 10 million times worse. So we agreed to take a step back. We stopped the doctors, we stopped testing for ovulation, stopped testing for pregnancy, because every time we did a test, you don't mean to, you get your hopes up, and that just caused more heartbreak. So we put a stop to everything. Once things were a bit better last year, Mike was feeling a bit better, I was a bit better, we were in a better headspace. We'd had a bit of time to think about things, we'd spoken to some friends, we decided it was the right time to go and get some answers one way or another. So we'd also had some really positive stories from friends that had adopted and things like that, so we knew there were other options as well. We felt strong enough again as a couple to take the plunge and at least go and get some answers, so that's what we did. We went to saw the, I changed GPs, which was really a key point. I changed GPs and couldn't have been more better. They were wonderful. And she's like, right, we need to hurry on this, we need to get a move on, and also let's get to the bottom of your pain. You're still complaining of pain, you're still not very well with the endometriosis, so let's get to the bottom of that. So the first thing she did was some baseline bloods. She did a smear, she did some swabs, and at the same time with Mike's job, they got his medical team involved to do his checks, and they moved really quickly. We're really lucky with that. Had us back in, said there wasn't any obvious things with the test she could see, so she referred us to the gynae, but advised us there would be like quite a wait. And then she said she would do a scan to check for polycystic ovaries. So that basically came back, and it looks like I probably do have polycystic ovaries, and it's likely that I do have endometriosis. So she was really good in getting on top of that with getting me some pain meds for the endometriosis. Mike's side were brilliant about getting his test done. So in November last year he had his test done. Now bearing in mind he'd been on medication, which we hadn't even entertained that idea. We thought it was all down to me. We hadn't entertained the idea that some of the medication Mike had been taking for his PTSD may very well affect his count. It had done, not a crazy amount, but it was sub-fertility level. So we were like, okay, maybe we've both got a bit of a problem here, which actually really helped because there was no one person to blame, and that took the pressure off a lot. Then we knew we had this wait, but we were quite excited that there was at least a plan afoot. There was a direction, there was a plan, something we knew things were moving forward at least, and it felt so much better than being stuck status quo. So if you are stuck in limbo at the minute with your partner, all I can advise is just talk to each other and get that. The hardest step is making that initial GP consultation and saying, listen, we've got a problem, we need help. But once you do, you feel so much better, you feel like you can breathe. So please go and see your GP. And if they're not helping you, change GP and get somebody else. So what happened next? So we started taking prenatal vitamins. We'd done a trial a couple of years ago called the Nipper trial. I don't know if it was just Hampshire. I'm sorry, my hair is bothering me so much. I don't know if it was just Hampshire that they did the trial, but basically it was about helping fertility and things, and basically it's how they discovered that folic acid helps women in pregnancy, and it's a trial basically looking at something new as well. And 2 of our friends had nipper babies on that, and we were like, why not us? But no, we didn't. But so we started taking prenatal vitamins, and Mike started taking sachets of drinks and vitamins to help. They were just sachets of fertility aid basically from Superdrug, and he actually really feels like they've helped a lot, not only his health and well-being, but his energy levels. And I just was taking regular run-of-the-mill folic acid and I think it was Vitibiotics pre-pregnancy ones, and again Mike was taking the men's version of them as well, and I think it was a Dr. Pixie male fertility supplement that he's been trying. This is not sponsored, by the way, just in case anybody asks. And we found a lot of help from that, from being part of a Facebook group for advice on fertility, which really, really helped. Secondly, we started being really honest with friends and family. If we didn't want to talk about it, we said to them, if they asked the question, so when are you guys going to have a family? And if, like, it was obvious if they were asking about it, either they hadn't really heard, they hadn't really thought about it, or they were being a bit nosy and just wanted to know the gossip. Not many people did that, but you can tell the difference. So if it was a day where we felt quite down, quite bad about it, we just said, oh, you know, it's not something we want to talk about at the minute. And likewise with our close friends and family, we were very, very honest and open about moving forward, because we felt it would help, and it has. They've shared their experiences with us, and everybody has been so supportive and so excited at each new step. So that really helped. I don't know if it would help you to talk to your friends, but it's really helped us to talk to our friends and family. So I got very, very poorly with infections, pneumonia and kidney infections in March. And I was poorly the whole of the spring, basically, in hospital for most of that time with IV antibiotics, which do not help at all. Now I've got a heart condition, so I will need to stop my heart tablets as soon as I find out that I'm pregnant. So I will just point out, we have had 2 losses and 1 ectopic at this point. So we know that we can, but since the ectopic 3 years ago, we haven't had anything at all. So we feel like there's been a bit of a problem since then. And the endometriosis and the subfertility with Mike and the polycystic ovary. So we've got so many things pulling against us at the minute. My BMI is quite high. I can't exercise because of my heart. I can't, every time I try and do cardio, it causes problems with my heart rate. I have SVT and other problems, and basically cardiac type fat burning exercise doesn't go down too well with my heart. I do try to swim. This is not an excuse. I'd work an incredibly hectic NHS 40-hour week job, 7 AM till 6 PM. By the time we get home, it's 7. By the time I do our dinner, it's 8. By the time I've had a bath, it's 9. It's very, very hard trying to fit that into the day. I know that you have to, but I do a lot of walking in my job, but I know that I need to do more. So we are walking at the weekends and things, and Mike does a lot of gym, his side of things. But I do know that I need to up my fertility and get my up my exercise and get my BMI down. So we are working on that as well. I'm going to try swimming soon, and we've been doing healthy eating. Really, we did try Slimming World, and actually that did work very, very well. But in the meantime, really what we've been doing is eating a lot of chicken, a lot of salmon, a lot of veg, cutting out carbs. Really, we've been eating as healthy as we can. And that seems to be working in as well. So I know that I want to process. I've lost 2 stone in total, but I know I need to really lose a good couple more to get my BMI down, and I am working on that. But oh my god, is it hard, especially when you're stressed. So I've been cutting down on alcohol as best we can. Again, that doesn't help with the stress, but we've been doing our best. We really, really have. So we've just sort of made a commitment to try and change our lifestyle and just try not to be stressed with each other and try to be as supportive as we can, along with the GP being really helpful. So basically, fast forward to March, finally saw the gynae guy. Absolutely amazing surgeon. He's like, number 1, I think you maybe have a blockage in your tubes. Number 2, probably got endometriosis, not helping things, polycystic ovaries. Let's move forward from this. So he did inform me that things are going to take time. Then comes the bombshell. The hospital that we are under has a cut-off age for fertility IVF treatment of 35. 35. I turned 35 I turned 35 this February 18. So I'm sitting there thinking, great, there's no help at all. Looking at the cost of IVF, I'd never be able to fund it ourselves at this moment in time anyway. That's mad, isn't it? Two hard-working people. Basically, the option to us at the minute would be to take out a loan and fund IVF, or, you know, not look at... Basically, if we did it ourselves, it would be the deposit for our house. We obviously want to be able to get on the housing ladder sooner rather than later, and out of rented accommodation. We would want to be able to buy a house. So, but I just find it mad that in this day and age, two very hard-working professional people. So IVF's expensive. Anyway, so really, really helpful, and he said I would possibly need a lap and eye, hysteroscopy. The scan showed that I did have follicles. Then he contacted me again and said that my AMH level, I think, was suboptimal. It wasn't terrible, but it was suboptimal, so we had to move quite quickly. So basically last week he has done me a prescription for Clomid, and we're going to start that. Yay! Was my initial reaction, because like, yes, finally starting something. Now I'm starting to feel not nervous. Obviously I've read all the information on it. Multiple cycles can cause ovarian cancer, but you know, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow, so I'm not worried about that. I've read some really positive stories about it helping multiple births, and you're like, we only want one, but you know what, 2 would be great. Talked it over with Mike. We're both really excited and very, very excited. He might need to add in a second drug in a couple of cycles if things don't work, and then after that point he's going to try 6 cycles, and after that, if things don't work, we are going to move forward to either ICSI or full-on IVF, and hopefully we're going to be able to get some help with funding for that. If not, we'll have to maybe start fundraising. I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. At the moment we're going to try this, and I'm really, really hopeful and really want to be positive that it will work. God, we are just so freaking ready for this. We've got all our friends, all our family, like pushing us, behind us, like literally lifting us up every time we're down. They're like, you will get there. You know, we just had my brother's wedding this weekend, and everybody was just so wonderful. They're just like, your turn will come. You guys deserve this more than anybody. And I don't know why the person, I don't know if you believe in anybody up there, but I don't know why the person up there has chosen that it shouldn't have happened before now. But I do believe that there is a plan for everybody, and maybe it wasn't right for us until now, but oh my god, if you are listening, if anybody up there controls destiny, then please let this be our turn, our time, because only people watching this who are going through the same thing will understand how devastating it is, how the feeling of longing, the feeling of being incomplete feels, and just how much I desperately want to see that wonderful man of mine as a dad, because he would make the best dad in the whole world. I think I'm going to need help to be a mum. I don't think I'll be a natural mum. But I will do a bloody good job. I will do my best with it. I'm not naturally maternal, but you know, I love my nieces and nephews. I'm about to have a new niece or nephew very, very soon. We're so blessed to have nieces and nephews, and I've enjoyed every single second of that. But Mike is going to be a wonderful, wonderful dad, and I couldn't want anything more in this world than to see that happen for him. And to just move our life forward, to be where our friends are and just be a family. You know, I come from a family that, well, basically it was just me, my mum and my brother, and you know, divorce is a horrible, horrible thing, and something that I will do my best to never do to my family. And the best bit about being married for me has been joining Mike's family has been wonderful. And I love my family to bits. You know, my mum and my brother are amazing, and my other family that are still out there in the world, you know, I love them too, despite the distance. But for me, the excitement getting married, the biggest gift of all was the idea of getting to start my own family and doing better at it, doing a good job. And that's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted is a family. There's nothing better, is there? So, and you see this emotion. I am not an emotional person. Everybody will laugh. Look at this. I'm not one of those girls that cries. I cry at the odd sentimental thing. I'm not really a crier. But this is how it feels all the time. It's like up here. Because it's desperation, and that's a horrible thing to say. I never wanted to say that. I never wanted to feel like this. I never wanted to be that person. To describe myself as that is frustrating. But I'm desperate for a family. That is it. I'm desperate for a baby. I want a baby of my own. And time just seems to be ticking on forever. And quite frankly, I'm fed up. It is the longest road, but I do feel like we might be finally getting somewhere. And to be getting there as a team, working together, moving forward, holding hands, doing this. We are so better as a couple at the minute. We're good. We're really good. And that is so nice that we've reached this point. We've come through all of this crap and made it together. And that this next part of the journey, if we get to do it, if we don't, we'll still be fine, 100%. I'm sure of that, and we'll make it work another way. But if this works, how freaking exciting that we get to do that together. Amazing. So thanks for listening to me, guys. I think I probably did need to say this. If you're going through the same thing, then feel free to message me or ask me questions. So basically, where we stand at the minute, we've had our baseline bloods. Mike's had his male tests done. I've had my scans. I've had a follicle scan. I've had my AMH bloods done, prolactin, all of that. And very, very lucky that my gynecologist is on side. We're probably going to have hysteroscopy at some point, laparoscopy, and look at treating the endometriosis. But for now, he wants to get a move on, and we are officially starting Clomid this week, except we're supposed to start it yesterday, except of course after 6 months of everything being regular, just when you need it to show up, it's late, and all the things that come with that. I know in my head I'm probably not pregnant, but so all we have to do now is wait for my cycle to start, and we can start Clomid. So excited about this now. And we've just bought the Clear Blue fertility digital monitor to test for ovulation as well, so we thought we'd give it a proper shot this time. Not sure about the ones you buy off Amazon and things, not sure if they work or not, so we thought we'd give it a proper shot. So we are officially starting Clomid. Yay! So if you guys don't know, I am my name's Daniela Logan, and I'm a blogger, a beauty blogger, YouTuber. My main job is in the NHS during the week, and I have a husband, and I'm a mummy to a fur baby, a little Kit Kat called Henry, who we absolutely love. She's our baby, she's our world, and I've got wonderful friends and family, and thank you all for supporting me so much. And I make makeup videos on YouTube. That's kind of all I'm good at. I mean, I do a bit of lifestyle as well, but all I'm really good at is, in my past life, I was a makeup artist, and I still do bridal makeup at weekends and things like that. So it's still my passion. Just haven't quite found a way to make it pay enough to buy us a house yet. So I'm back in the NHS at the moment, which I also love. And I'm a photographer as well, so I've got lots of strings to my bow. I do quite a few things. I'm a busy gal, But yes, primarily I'm a makeup artist, and that's why I'm on YouTube, to make makeup tutorials. So if you like those, they're on there too, and give us a thumbs up. So there it is. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this vlog, but if anybody else out there is experiencing what we're going through, then I hope it helps. And if you've got any questions, just message me. Don't know how much I can help. This is just our story. This is our journey. But so here we go. This is our infertility and hopefully IVF journey. Sending lots of baby dust to everybody out there that's trying, and good luck to us all. Please be kind with the comments. Obviously it's a very personal subject, so thanks for watching, guys. And obviously it's a very different video for me, but if you want to go and see some of the makeup ones, they're over there as well. But thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, and hopefully give you an update soon. Take care, bye bye.